Hey guys! Over the past couple of weeks, we've been looking at balancing equations, and one of the strategies we've been using is double and halving. This can also help when we're multiplying some of our larger numbers. And this is basically to help us look at an equation and see if both sides are balanced without actually solving each expression. And then in order to do this, we have to figure, well, does this strategy help us with this type of problem? Because not all strategies work for that. And we're also going to use what we know about numbers and their structure to help us solve these problems. So let's start with what we know, all right? We are very familiar with our arrays, and we have a 4 by 6 here. And with the double, I am literally going to take half of this side and put it on the other side to double my 4. Now I could have broken up the 4 and did half of that and doubled my 6, but frankly it wouldn't fit on the page. So we just did it this way. We know that 6 times 4 is 24. We know that 3 times 8 is 24. Remember, we start with problems we know so we can look at the structure of the strategy and how it works. All right, so we see 4 times 2 is 8, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. We doubled one, we halved the other. Let's try it. Here we have 12 times 6, and you can see that we wanted to see if it was equal to 24 times 3. And in fact, 12 times 2 gave us the 24, 6 divided by 2 gave us the 3. We have it. It's important to make sure that you double and half on the same side of the equation. You cannot double one over here and half something over here to see if they're balanced. It will not work. So here we are going to look at 15 times 3. Is it greater than, equal to, or less than 6 times 30? I'm going to start over on the left side. It doesn't matter which side you do. I have 15 times 2. And that gives me 30. Hey, they balance, right? But I have this 3 and I have this 6, so I know they're not going to balance. But let's look at it anyways. And so 3 divided by 2. Uh-oh, what happened when we do this? Yeah, 3 is an odd number, so I'm going to end up with a fraction. In fact, I'm going to end up with 1.5, or 1 5/10. We could have done it on the other side, but I wanted to point out that when we're multiplying and we're using this strategy, sometimes it doesn't help if they're both odd numbers, all right? Because we don't want to deal with fractions. We want to make it easier for us to do a problem in our head, not have to write it down, and this definitely did not make the problem easier. So is 30 times 1.5 greater, equal to, or less than 6 times 30? Well, we know that 1.5 is smaller than 6, so 6 times 30 is our larger expression. All right, let's try 16 times 8. Is that greater than, equal to, or less than 32 times 4? You can pause it and figure it out yourself. And hopefully you guys did that. Otherwise, it's okay. I have problems for you at the end. We have 16 times 8. They're both even numbers. I'm going to give it a shot. Let's try multiplying our 16. So if I double it or do times 2, I figure out that that is in fact 32. Yes. So 2 times 6 is 12. I'm going to carry that. 2 times 10 is 20, plus the 1 is 30. All right, what about our 8? We know 8 divided by 2 is in fact 4. So we have our balanced equation correct. Nicely done. Now, we don't just, sometimes we're missing a factor, right? And so we don't want to see if it's equivalent because we know it's equivalent. We have the equal sign already here, but we need to know what factor is missing. And so we're going to look at the numbers on the side and be like, can I half or double either of these to get 4? And you're like, yeah, of course. I just double 2 and I'll have 4. All right. So now I know the 4, but what's going to be this missing factor? Well, I'm going to take my 64 and divide it by 2. And sure enough, 4 divided by 2 is 2. 60 divided by 2 is 30. You have 32. Good job. All right. We have another one. Now, what times 27 is going to be equivalent to 25 times 54? Remember, I don't want to solve 25 times 54 to figure out what this would be and then divide it by 27. I want to simply double and divide what it's going to give me. Now, which one am I going to double and which one am I going to divide? Well, I'm gonna double the 25 because again, remember from the last one, I don't want to divide odd numbers. So I'm gonna multiply that and get 50. So I'm assuming that the 50 goes there, right? Well, let me see if the 27 is accurate. So I'm going to divide 54. Now, as you notice, this is an odd number in the tens place, but that's okay because we can break it apart. And if you break it apart into expanded form, you can make it easier to solve. And if you remember, what's half of 50? Well, if you have 50 cents and you want to share it with a friend, then you give them a quarter, right? And we know half of 4 is 2, so we're going to write it down. 25 plus 2 gives us, in fact, 27. That is correct. Nicely done. All right. Now, let's look at this one. We want to find the actual product, all right? We're not looking for a balanced equation. We want to solve this, but we don't want to use standard algorithm. We don't really want to write it down. We just kind of want to be able to look at it and see, can I figure that out? So if I, remember, double my 13 because it's odd and I don't want to use fractions, I want to make my life easier, not more difficult. I'm going to double my 13 and divide my 8. And so 13 times 2 is 26. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Well, does that make it easier? Maybe a little bit, but not really. So let's do it again. Yes, you can do it again. We're going to double our 26 and divide our 4. So now we just have 52 times 2, which gives us 104. That seemed pretty easy when we're doubling. Sometimes it's just, if you're just stacking and adding the numbers over and over again, it will help you solve these problems. Remember, we're using learning lots of different strategies to help us. This is a great strategy if you ever have a 25 and you have a multiple of 4, and I'll show you. So we're going to double and divide. We're going to double our 25 and get to 50, divide our 16 and get, 8. Do it again, and bam, you have 100 times what? 4. 400. When you get really good at this, you'll be able to look at your numbers and be like, oh, that's just divided by 4. That's just times 4. It's 400. Right in your head, super quick. You can impress your friends. All right, so now what we're going to do is I have 2 problems for you. This is one of them. You go ahead, stop the video, write it down. I will give you a sticker if you bring these to me, okay? So I want you to do 16 times 13. You're going to times 2, divide by 2, whichever one you think. Remember, we want to divide even numbers, hint, hint. Okay, and find the product. You might do it once. Hey, maybe you'll do it twice to really help you figure it out. Now, here, I want you to, again, stop the video and look at it. We have 11 times 30 equals something times 15. What are we going to do to find this missing factor? Double and divide. Again, write it down, bring those 2 problems to me, and I will have a sticker for you. So, thank you for watching, and I hope this was helpful. Have a great day.